Welcome to the Power of Charms. I'm Kay McDonald, and my very special guest today is Susan Brooks. Susan and I have known each other, we realized, over 25 years.
But who's counting?
I know, who's counting? You had cookies from home when I met you 25 years ago, and I had a jewelry business called Regalia. And then throughout the years, we've done lots of fun projects together, and we've remained fast friends. And if you want to be inspired, Susan Brooks is the person to follow. Susan has taken her career and transformed herself several times, and I'm so excited to pull this story out of you today, Susan.
All right, I'm ready to tell it and share it.
I love
Let it be highly contagious. How's that?
Yes. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited for us to talk today, because right now, as we're talking, we're still going through a pandemic. Lots of people's lives are totally changing. Their careers are changing. Their families are changing. And a lot of people are kind of misdirected, don't know what they're going to do, what they're doing. And you are such a great person to pull out inspiration and help people find a new direction. You live that, you show that, you walk that talk. And so let's get started with your interview. I want you to give us a little bit of background on your career and what you're doing right now that's making such a difference.
Oh, how much time have we got for that one? I started as a teacher, and I really feel that everything that I have done in my life goes back to loving teaching. I love to serve. I love to open eyes and hearts in people, being able to look at new perspectives and always being very, very creative, almost rebellious with, the state adopted textbook. I mean, that didn't last long for me. I realized that in order for my high school students to learn, I had to create curriculum that was relevant for them. So, while I was trying to teach about the English poets of Byron and Shelley and Keats, they could care less about that. What do these words mean? But you know what? The music of that time was Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan. And so I pulled on the music. And of course, they didn't print the lyrics on the back of the albums. These are all dated terms now. But that's what I did so that they could see that they were really saying the same thing. And that was exciting. I had, rock poetry. I had film appreciation classes. Again, those are back in the days of Easy Rider and some of these iconic films that really changed the way people live their lives and prepared us for the changes that we're going to be following, because that's when civil rights, that's when the feminist movement, it was a great time to be alive and to be constantly riding that wave of change and innovation. And people ask, well, how did you get started with cookies from home? Well, it was because I was teaching at a time when women were not encouraged to be working, even in the classroom, if I had young children at home. And there was a lot of judgment, like, what are you doing here? And who's taking care of your children? And what kind of a mother are you? And by the way, I have great kids. They turned out just fine. They survived, and so did I, because I could not sit and watch. I had to get out there and get in it and make change and influence and inspire. So when it came time to thank those people that were very supportive of helping me being a mother, I gave them cookies.
Aww.
Old family recipes that Barry, my husband, and still my husband, 53 years, my heavens, how does anyone live through all of those changes?
That's amazing. And we're going to talk a little bit about Barry too and what he's doing.
Oh my heavens! When I look at our wedding pictures, again from so long ago, I would say, "Well, that's your first wife," because there's not anything similar to that person of who I am today. And as he says, I've never I've never been bored. So from teaching, I was giving out cookies in Woolworths. They were, tins that were not very much money. Today there's dollar stores, but dime stores, and we'd fill them with cookies and give them out as thank yous, a personal way of doing gratitude to these people that were telling me, how to raise my kids. Now it's time to get them off diapers. Now it's time to get them off. I just wanted to love them and continue doing whatever I could do to serve others in the world. And they're both entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs today. So from that, there was so much of a demand for our cookies that that's how it started. We created our first cookie store in Athens, Georgia, believe it or not. We were franchised soon thereafter, 13 stores up and down the Southeast coast. And then, of course, our Mill Avenue store, which was our favorite. And that we sold it in 2010. We opened in 1981.
God.
So that was a long haul, starting with nothing and creating a multi-million-dollar company on cookies. Can you
Creating a
believe it?
cookie legacy.
Cookie legacy, absolutely. And then after that, my heavens, it was amazing because when we sold the company, I was left to due diligence with the new owner, but I have to tell you, Barry skipped out of the door. He was like a child at recess, he could go out and do what he wanted to do, which was to dance. He loves his dance. So he got certified in Zumba, and then he started teaching seniors in senior communities throughout the Valley. And I took my legends in the trenches of Cookies from Home and decided to be a coach and take those lessons. Again, the school teacher, that holds people accountable and helps them realize how they can be creative and how they can have it all. I've been doing that and helping women business owners develop their own sense of self and confidence, as well as knowing their numbers and their marketing and all that goes with that. But now, the woman that I serve, not saying I have served men as well, but a woman that has a lot on her dream list and her reality list, and maybe not the confidence, or maybe they don't have the know-how, or that I've been there, I've done that.
And you know how to pull it out of people, Susan. That's one of the things that I've always loved about you, is you're such an innovator, and you inspire people too, because you have this amazing energy and wisdom.
Well, talk about wisdom. Now that I'm, what do I want to say? Now that I'm seasoned. Because you know what? The concept of retirement, the concept of really just breathing is not enough for me. I think until my last breath, I'll be serving somehow, somewhere. And if right now, because of my age and because of my years of wisdom in the trenches and growing teams and events like you and I did, I'll leave that for another paragraph or two. There is a book that I have loved. I've written 3, but this is the book that I read, and it's called The Modern Elder. Oh, and it's written by Chip Conley. Do you remember who he is? Mm-hmm. He owned Joie de Vie boutique hotels, and he was known for his service, because to me, it's all about serving. It's all about making the world better, a person better. How can I help? What can I do that's of value? And in 2008, I think he ran into a hard time, and he was in his late 50s or 60s, and he had to figure out what he was going to do. And so he got contacted by Airbnb, of course. Doesn't that make sense? The hospitality industry changed. And he had the wisdom, he had the experience, because Airbnb was all technological experience. but they didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to market. So he was the elder that they brought in to teach the team how to do business in a relational way, which they did not have because they're on computers. They don't necessarily are the best in communication, and so it was a match made in heaven. And that book had a lot to do with how I was going to serve next. And right now, with the pandemic, with the economy the way that it is, and all the changes that are happening in our own country, I like to refer to myself as the modern elder. And it's provided an opportunity for so many people, not just women, who finally have time. We've never had time.
No, we've never. Everybody's been so busy, and
So busy.
all of a sudden all the events are off your calendar and you have extra time for yourself, right?
Well, but it's not even extra time for yourself. It's extra time really for reflection.
Yes.
Because we are living longer, we are healthier, we have the ability to develop great new habits of what we drink and what we eat and how we exercise. That was never in my consciousness as I was growing up. It certainly wasn't in my parents. So we're going to live a long time, God willing. Here we have this COVID going, but there's more to do.
Yes.
My daughter has made me promise another 20 years. That's what she said. From her mouth to God's ears. I hope she's right. But the women that I'm working with now are in transition. For example, one of my clients sold her half of the business to her partner. And she came to me because she just turned 50. And she says, "What's next? What am I going to do? I don't know, help me find me." So of course we did. The hero's journey is a big part of my curriculum with her. But even better, it was this book.
Oh.
Do you remember this book?
Of course, I've read that book. It's a fabulous book.
Outrageous, Courageous, and Highly Contagious. Yeah. This was my third book. And what I did when I sold cookies from home was I went out on a hunt looking for those people that are living their life large. Men, women, all over the country. I don't know if you remember Ken Singh, but he had that organic garden. He's a soil whisperer. We had people that were serving with gusto, and that's who I am. And I wanted to see all the different possibilities of how these people are expressing themselves in a powerful and potent and profound way. And so, for example, with my client, she's now on the hunt for those robust, living large people that will not settle for mediocrity. And she's doing interviews just like I did with my book. Right. So I love it. I love it.
And you said she's 50, and I'm going to segue back into, you mentioned briefly, you and I did a wonderful project together called Thrive at 55.
There it is.
There's the book. You wrote the book, and we interviewed all kinds of fantastic women for the book. And the sunflowers in the book, I like to ask the people that I interview if there's a significant symbol in their life, because I'm in the, I'm affiliated with charms, and to me, charms are manifestations of your favorite symbols. And so our symbol for our project was the sunflower, wasn't it?
It was. The sunflower was.
And we made it into a charm. It's a beautiful charm, the sunflower charm.
Yeah, here's mine.
It's interesting how we settled on that. We were trying to decide what our symbol was going to be, and you had a bedspread full of sunflowers. My father helped me plant a sunflower garden, so that's always been near and dear to my heart. And even the painting you have behind you, the heart has sunflowers in it. And we just looked at each other and said, the sunflower. And so that became our significant symbol. And even to this day, every time I wear some sunflowers or see them, I think of you and our project.
Thank you. It's not only fabulous in its look and in its joy, because you can't look at sunflowers, and of course, especially if you look at a field of them. I mean, look at, can you see? Am I sure? Look at that. I mean, and
Beautiful.
when I was in Italy, it was right in Tuscany, I saw just a field of these, and I just ran right into the center of the field and took a picture of what it was like to be completely immersed. But we found out actually that not only was this a powerfully joyful flower, but we also learned that it has the perfect balance of 55 rows of seeds. Isn't that interesting?
It was, that's so, it's funny how things come together in life sometimes when they're meant.
Organic.
And you and I chose that as a symbol. And then our graphic artist is the one that told us that's the Fibonacci code, the 55 seeds. And we thought, oh my gosh, and we're doing Thrive at 55.
Exactly.
So,
And do you know that those seeds, they shed the seeds? First of all, the sunflower is always facing the light. It follows the sun, and which I think is interesting, considering that if you watched the inauguration yesterday, Amanda Gorman, a 22-year-old poet laureate, said, "There's always light if only we're brave."
Yes.
Only if we're brave enough to see it, and if we're brave enough to be it. So that's what we decided. And it sheds the seeds, it reseeds, and then it blooms again, just like us.
Just
How
like
about that?
So it was so fun to work on that very special project with you. One of the highlights of my life. And then and so we did a fabulous conference. We had 200 women, and it was a joy. And then we wrote the book, and then
Well, wait 1 second, Kay.
What?
The women that were speaking at this event,
yes,
were all over 55.
oh yes,
Role models
Yep.
of women that are robust, vibrant, passionate, and committed to life and service. So we wanted to give, because somehow, you think of turning 50 and it's like half your life is over.
Yeah.
And that's where we did the hard work. We learned the lessons.
Right.
But now it's the second 50 years that matter the most, because we can take all those lessons, we can take all those experiences, all those mistakes that we made, and put them to good use as the modern elder. Love it. Love the way that goes.
Now tell me, you have an exciting new thing that has developed in your life with your husband, Barry. And this is a new direction for you. I know that you're going to continue your coaching, which is, your forte, but you also have a new inspired direction to help your husband with his fabulous talent. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Barry has really created an incredible business where he brings Zumba and his own creative ways of dancing. He's always been a good dancer. And when COVID hit, many of his senior communities, like everyone else, and as it should have been, went into lockdown. And what we realized is that they are isolated. That only spurs on their anxiety and depression. And the main thing is they're not moving, which means they atrophy, or their body starts to it just doesn't grow, and it's not nourishing and nurturing if you're sitting in one room and you're not connected, you're not getting hugs, you're not able to be around your friends or your family. And several of them said, "Barry, we have to get you in here somehow, knowing you can't physically be here. What can you do?" And so we started thinking, and here's where I praise technology. You don't hear that from me very often. I always feel like I'm a stranger in a strange land. I'm not real good at that, but I'm operational. And we created, as a result, a virtual subscription program for him that was specifically designed and choreographed for the independent, assisted, and memory care seniors.
And
And
movement is medicine, right?
Movement as Medicine. The full name is movementasmedicine.online. And please go and check out that website, because you'll get demos from Barry. You'll see that he's got 2 programs, Boogie Up, as well as chair dancing. And we are now offering this nationwide. So if you have aging parents, if you have other people that live in other cities or where your family is that could recommend and send referrals to me, I will introduce them to movementasmedicine.online. And of course, Barry is fully dressed every video in lime green and hot pink, and he's got his cap on, and we always pick fabulous places that we in Arizona love. So it's the Herberger and Gamage and the Hole in the Rock, and he does his Zumba. It's actually a combination of his own dancing along with some of the Zumba moves. So it's been great to be able to serve more seniors, and we're real excited to get the word out. And so here we are in our 70s.
I love it. Well, and
we're starting up again, another iteration.
I know that's the perfect example of how a hardship or a challenge, such as our COVID, with everybody staying inside and not being able to go to the gym or do anything, you have made lemonade out of lemons and started a whole business, and you're over 70, and it's just so inspirational. And I've seen you not only do this with your husband, but also with a lot of other people too. So you do serve, and you make a big difference. Thank you. Susan, today has just been so very special, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. And if people want to get in contact with you, the best place to go is Susan at movementasmedicine.online. Is that correct?
Excellent. I would love for you to contact me, get information. It's so affordable and needed in our bodies for all of us, So thank you for this opportunity. And Kay, I'm just going to end by acknowledging your iterations aren't too bad either. You know, we've been doing this a while, though I'm older than you. I'm the elder. Yeah. I know that. And I wear it with pride. I earn my stripes in a lot of ways. But there you are, connecting with causes. There you are, creating a way of expression for those people, those nonprofits especially, that need to let others know about the value of what they're doing. And you're gorgeous to look at. And I have so much of your jewelry. I mean, this was a regalia. This was winter. I wear my every day. I mean, this is how I know where I'm at. Love and passion and all those wonderful things. So I'm just grateful for our friendship and so proud of you for all the wonderful things you do. Thank you.
Well, we've had many fun years together, and I look forward to many more.
My daughter says 20 more.
Love you, Susan.
Thank you. Take care, my dear. Bye-bye.